I'm going to need a little bit of participation from the audience for this next story. Last year, I covered the out of reach, the high cost of housing report. It's released every year. That new report has been released for 2023. And we're going to dive into some of these states to show you what you need to earn as an hourly wage in order to afford a 2-bedroom apartment in your area. Now, we'll go back and forth between 2023 and 2022. But first, I need some help from you. This is the report. Let me pull it up. Pull up to my bumper, baby. All right. Out of reach, the high cost of housing. And we're just going to make this bigger because. Oh, yeah. And I'm going to go to the map. And this is where I'm going to need your help, peeps. It's just easier if I go straight to the map than the appendix. Here we go. I'm going to come out just a little bit. Okay. Give me a state. What state would you like for me to show you? Because even though we have the numbers here, there's other things that you need to see that go along with it. So throw out a state in the chat and I will look it up. Yes, it is Grace Jones, Sherry. I didn't think anybody would know that. I didn't think anybody would know, man. Okay. Oh boy, a couple of them already came in. Can't guarantee we'll get to see every one, but I'm going to try. Maryland. All right, let's go to Maryland. Maryland. Why is it? I don't know why. I used to be able to just click on this map like last year. The one last year, I could just click on it. So I don't know why it's not letting me do that this time. Let's go back up. Maryland. In the state of Maryland for 2023, you need to earn $31.08 per hour to afford a 2-bedroom apartment. So I hope everyone can see this well. So it says in Maryland, the FMR, which is fair market rent, for a 2-bedroom apartment is $1,616. In order to afford this level of rent and utilities without paying more than 30% of your income on housing, a household must earn $5,387 a month or $64,642 annually. This is assuming a 40-hour work week, 52 weeks per year. That translates into an hourly housing wage of $31.08 an hour. And then if we go down, you can see a little bit more. The minimum wage in Maryland is $13.25 an hour. So obviously the minimum wage doesn't meet that requirement. The average renter wage is $22.71 an hour. That also does not meet the requirement. What you need to make for that 2-bedroom housing is $31.08 an hour. So as you can see, if you fall into one of these categories, the minimum wage or the average renter wage, you don't meet the $31.08 an hour, which you should be making. This is just a reality of the situation, people. We'll go to the most expensive areas here in Maryland. Most expensive areas, the Washington, Arlington, Alexandria, that's that DC area. And Nova, that's Northern Virginia area there. A lot of people live in DC, work in DC. They live in Maryland or Virginia. Most expensive areas in Maryland, that DC area, California, Lexington Park, Baltimore, Columbia, Towson, Cecil County, and Talbot County. You can see the wages here. The housing wage in that DC area, you need to make $35.35 an hour. The California, Lexington area, you need to make $30.71 an hour. Baltimore, Columbia, Towson, $29.77. Cecil County, $28.27. And Talbot County, $23.10. If you are watching and you live in Maryland, if you make that, type a 1 in the chat if you make that $31.08 an hour at least. Type a 2 if you don't. Curious to see this. Now that's 2023. How was it for 2022? This is the one we did last year. Let's go down here. We're just going to make it bigger. And I'll come up with I'll do the other states as well. I went down too far. Sorry. And if this takes too long to load, we'll just go back to the other one. Okay, there we go. Let's go down here. So we'll go back to Maryland once again. Oh, on this one, I can't click on the state. That sucks. Sorry, guys. Maybe we're not going to be able to do the comparison. 127. Let's see. That's going to take too long. We won't have time for all that. Oh, there we go. It's 189. Yeah, this is why I do not like PDFs. This is exactly why. But here we are. Louisiana, Maine. So we're getting closer to Maryland. Last year in 2022, you needed to make $28.93 an hour if you lived in Maryland. So you see, here we are just a year later, and now you already have to make $31.08 an hour. So you need to make more now. Just 1 year, you need to make more. So that's Maryland. Give me another one. Let's do some more. I think someone mentioned New Jersey. I saw New Jersey here. I thought I did. Most of you guys say you don't make this. Okay. New Jersey. Let's go to that one next. We'll go there. Yeah, Eric, there wasn't a non-PDF version when I looked at it. If you find one, let me know. But when I saw it, it made me download the report. But if you find it, let me know. Let's go back up. Just going to go back up to the index here. And I used to be able to just click on the states too. That's why I hate the PDF version. So let me go down. Okay, yeah, bring that up. If you have that, bring that up, please. That's so much faster. I hate PDF. I'm sorry, you guys. It just slows everything down. Like, I really don't have time for it. I really don't. I'll go to one of the comments here while we wait. Shout out to Regine Jolly for becoming a Sabby member. Give her a big whoop, 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 whoop. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to put some of these in the queue. New Jersey. I see Colorado, California, Washington, and I thought I saw some other ones as well. Who else said? I saw Washington. Okay, yeah, that'll be so much easier. Thank you so much, Eric. Okay, all right. New Jersey was next, right? So let's go to New Jersey. So in New Jersey, this is so much better. You need to make $33.50 an hour to afford a 2-bedroom apartment. That's 95 hours. You need to work 95 hours a week. That's insane. 95 hours weekly. The hours of work needed at the minimum wage to afford a 2-bedroom rental home. So if you're making minimum wage in New Jersey, let's see what the minimum wage is. The minimum wage in New Jersey is $14.13 an hour. But to afford a 2-bedroom apartment, you need to make $33.50 an hour. So that being said, if you do make minimum wage in New Jersey, you have to work 95 hours a week. This is insane. This is crazy. This is where we're at now in this country, though. This is where we're at. I don't know if they do the most expensive. We may not have time to do that. But this one here, I want to show you when it says median wages for states' most common occupations. Cashiers, the median hourly wage is $14.52 an hour. So we're looking at $83,960 a year. Fast food and counter workers, $69,710 a year. Interesting. This is interesting. Very interesting. So that's New Jersey. Let's go to, I said, Washington State. In Washington State, you need to make $36.33 an hour to afford a 2-bedroom rental home. If you make minimum wage, you have to work 92 hours a week to afford a 2-bedroom home in Washington State. This is insane. Too much. I said Colorado was next. In Colorado, you have to make $32.13 an hour. By the way, it's ranked 8th in the highest housing wage. You'll have to work 94 hours a week if you make minimum wage in Colorado to afford a 2-bedroom apartment. Let's go back to Washington, and I want to see if they'll show me the most expensive area. See, when you download the report, there's so much more that you can see. See, number of households, housing wage. I know that. You guys notice that when we look at occupations, you notice what most of the jobs are, right? Fast food counter workers, cashiers, retail, home health and personal care aides. Let's go down and see if I missed anything else down here. There's a lot of people working jobs where they're making minimum wage. They're cashiers, or they work at a retail store. Or, I mean, I know, like, when I lived in North Carolina, when I was in high school, that was actually really common for a lot of women who were middle-aged. They were retail workers. This idea that a lot of people are sitting behind a desk and they have an office, or they're a lawyer, or they're a doctor, that's not the case for most people in this country. And that's what people have to really understand. So that's Washington State. Let's go back. I said, let me see what I put in the chat. Sorry. California. In California, you have to earn $42.25 an hour in 2023 to afford a 2-bedroom rental home. You have to work 109 hours a week in California if you make minimum wage to afford a 2-bedroom home. And the state of California is first in the highest housing wage. This is important. You know why? Guess who just went on strike in California? The hotel workers. I told you, I did a story about that about a week or two ago. I told you there was a plan where the hotel workers in California, all of them, by the way, all the hotels in California were saying that if they didn't get an increase in their wage, they were going to go on strike the weekend of July 4th. So that is really going to affect tourism in California. Can you imagine? All the hotels are shut down because they have no employees. Think about that. They have to work 109 hours a week in California to afford a 2-bedroom apartment. And people wonder why they're on strike. People wonder why. The next one I think I was going to go to was someone said Maine. In Maine, you have to make $24.73 an hour to afford a 2-bedroom rental home. If you make minimum wage, you have to work 72 hours a week to get a 2-bedroom home, 24th in highest housing wage. So what you'll notice from this map, the darker blue states are the more expensive housing areas to live in. The lighter blue the state, it's less and less. Now I want to go to a state I went to last year that kind of shocked people. Actually, not a state, but we're going to go to Puerto Rico. Because in Puerto Rico, we all might need to move, okay? In Puerto Rico, you only need to make $10.36 an hour. $10.36 an hour to afford a 2-bedroom rental home. If you make minimum wage, you have to work 44 hours a week to get that 2-bedroom home. They are 52nd in highest housing wage. Who wants to move to Puerto Rico? You want to go? Nice weather. $10.36 an hour. Hawaii. They are number 2 in the highest housing wage. You have to make $41.83 an hour in Hawaii to afford a 2-bedroom rental home. For minimum wage, you have to work 139 hours a week to get a 2-bedroom home. This is America, guys. Is this supposed to be the American dream? You see what's happened with capitalism? Someone said me. Natalie, you said me. What state is that? Nikki said, is that Nikki or Vicky? Vicky said Vermont. Let's go to Vermont. Whoops, that's New Hampshire. Hold on. In Vermont. Yikes. Jesus. I'm surprised by this one. I'm surprised Vermont's okay. So in Vermont, you have to make $25.54 an hour to afford a 2-bedroom rental. If you're making minimum wage, you have to work 78 hours a week. It's the 20th highest housing wage. I'm actually surprised by that. There aren't as many people in Vermont. So it's like, Bud's Not Bomb said packing. Who wants to go with me to Puerto Rico? Let's go. Let's go. Oz says capitalism kills us all. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Wyoming and then Alabama and then Kentucky. Okay, so let's go to Wyoming. Wyoming, you have to make $17.94 an hour to afford a 2-bedroom home. 99 hours a week if you are making minimum wage. So they're 45th. You guys can also move to Wyoming. We said Alabama. In Alabama, you have to make $18.13 an hour to afford a 2-bedroom home. 43rd highest housing wage. Work 100 hours a week for minimum wage. I don't really want to move to Alabama. I'm sorry. Kentucky. All right. In Kentucky, you have to make $17.90 an hour to afford a 2-bedroom rental home. It is 46th highest housing wage, and you have to work 99 hours a week if you are making minimum wage. I'm just going to check the chat. I see Missouri. And I see Illinois and Connecticut. So let's do that. Missouri. In Missouri, you have to make $18.54 an hour for a 2-bedroom home, work 62 hours a week if you're making minimum wage, and that is 41st highest housing wage. Who did I say after Missouri? I already forgot. Shoot. Maybe I shouldn't have done 3. Oh, Connecticut. Connecticut, I know, is expensive. My neighbor to the south. Connecticut, you have to make $31.93 an hour to afford a 2-bedroom rental. They're ninth in the highest housing wage, and you have to work 85 hours a week if you make minimum wage. That's Connecticut. And then, geez, I just forgot the other one. I feel so bad. I see Tennessee, but I know I said another one. I'm sorry, guys. Tennessee. In Tennessee, you have to make $20.76 an hour to get a 2-bedroom home. They are 32nd in the highest housing wage, and you have to work 115 hours a week if you make minimum wage. Illinois was the other one. Thank you, Jay. Illinois. In Illinois, you have to make $24.59 an hour, and you have to work 76 hours a week if you make minimum wage, and it's the 25th highest housing wage. I think the thing is with Illinois is that once you get outside of Chicago, I imagine the rest of Illinois is probably cheap or cheaper. I don't know what people consider cheap, but cheaper. Texas, I see in the chat. Oh, that's Louisiana. Sorry. Texas. In Texas, you have to make $25.06 an hour to afford a 2-bedroom home, and it is ranked 21st for the highest housing wage. You have to work 138 hours a week if you make minimum wage. Interesting. Bad Cookie said there's nothing outside of Chicago. Okay, well, that explains it. I've only been to Chicago. I haven't been to other cities in Illinois, unfortunately. So, Florida. Let's do that one. In Florida, you have to make, geez, ouch. What happened to Florida? I thought Florida was supposed to be affordable. What the hell? In Florida, you have to make $30.59 an hour. If you make minimum wage, you have to work 111 hours a week. Florida is 11th in the highest housing wage. What happened to my people in the chat that live in Florida? What the hell happened? A lot of people that live up north will move to Florida because it was cheaper to live there, but yikes, how did they become 11th? What's that, Miguel? Florida is no longer as affordable. Yikes. Damn. Something happened to Florida there. Okay. This is ridiculous, though, you guys. Let's check out. So we'll make sure. New York. In New York, you have to make $40.08 an hour. Of course, we all know a lot of that is due to New York City. In order to have a 2-bedroom rental, you have to work 113 hours a week to have a 2-bedroom rental if you make minimum wage, and they are 4th in the highest housing wage. Let's go over to, we'll do my state, Massachusetts. Jesus Christ. In Massachusetts, you have to make $41.64 an hour to afford a 2-bedroom home. I believe that, actually. I believe that. You have to work 111 hours a week if you make minimum wage to afford a 2-bedroom home. And Massachusetts is 3rd highest in the housing wage. What does this tell us, ladies and gentlemen? This tells us that, obviously, a lot of us know this, you really can't make a living in this country off of a minimum wage job. You just can't. This is what I talk about when I say a living wage. So we're going to Alaska. I saw that one next. In Alaska, you have to make $26.32 an hour to afford a 2-bedroom rental home. You have to work 97 hours a week if you are making minimum wage to afford it. And it's 18th highest housing wage. What does this tell you, though? This is the living wage. Let's just call it that. The living wage in Alaska is $26.32 an hour. That's how we need to frame this. The living wage in Florida is $30.59 an hour. The living wage in Oregon is $29.72 an hour. This is really what people should be making. A lot of people don't make this. A lot of people don't make this. New Hampshire. Is that New Hampshire or Rhode Island? Did I click on Rhode Island? Rhode Island. Massachusetts. Why is it doing that? In Rhode Island, the living wage is actually $27.78 an hour. See, these are the things that we don't really get to see. In Georgia, the living wage is $24.75 an hour. Those of you making that $15 an hour and that whole fight for 15, that's nothing. You are not making a living wage. I really do believe this report should be presented to Congress. There's something else I want to show you with this report as well. Metro area. Oh yeah, we did Puerto Rico and Hawaii. It's important that you do those. Give me a zip code. Throw out a zip code, peeps, if you feel comfortable. I'll put one in. I do it right? I think I did this right. Oh, I think I entered that wrong. I definitely entered that wrong. I was trying to do, I forgot the zip code. Okay, I see some zip codes in the chat. 19401. 19401. 19401. You need to make $29.42 an hour. That's Pennsylvania, somewhere in Pennsylvania. 21231. 21231. You need to make $35.38 an hour. This is Baltimore. I see John Hopkins. That's Baltimore, I believe. 90210. Okay, we'll do that one. I see that one in the chat. 90210. $64.04 an hour. Oh my God. Oh no. Yikes. Okay, let's go, Mike. 89108. 89108. Vegas. 89108. $27.31 an hour. 30319. 30319. 30319. Brookhaven, $44.23 an hour. This country is expensive, guys. Greg did this. Okay, this guy, Greg Burge did his already. He said $46.54 an hour. Jesus. So the point that I want to show, let me put this here. 27893, and then we're going to get to the other one here. Uh-oh, that one doesn't work. 27893 doesn't work. 81507. 81507, you are $26.73. That's somewhere, looks like somewhere in Colorado. Or maybe not. Yeah. I think that's what it says. Jesus. So the point that I want to get to in reference to this report, now that was Maryland. If we go back. Eric, can we put the link to this in the chat so people can play with this at home as well? Out of reach 2023, the high cost of housing. This year's report shows how high rents resulting from rapid rent growth during the pandemic and the end of many pandemic era benefit programs are combining to exacerbate the financial insecurity of low income renters, leading to the higher eviction filing rates and increased homelessness in some communities. What did I tell you guys? I told you the homeless rates were increasing and the evictions were increasing. Now, I want to go to this part here, because I think everybody needs to see this. There's ways to protect. I'm going to send you guys this link so you can practice this at home, because there's so much on this site. I could have done just like a whole show. The take action. That's what I wanted to show you. The Eviction Crisis Act. So I'm going to put this in the chat for you as well. Add your organization to a letter urging Congress to enact the Bipartisan Eviction Crisis Act. Let me put this in here. You can sign that if you want to. But these are the type of things, we're talking about people testifying in front of Congress. These are the type, we need to be talking about this. People need to be testifying in front of Congress about this. You have to remember, the Senate voted down the $15 minimum wage. There's no way you're making a living in this country and you're making $7.25 an hour. There's no way. Where are you living? How many roommates do you have to have? This is not the American dream. This is a dream for companies like BlackRock. This is a dream for companies like Vanguard Group. This is not a dream for the American people. Nobody should have to live this way. The fact that you'd have to work over 100 hours just to that's not the American dream. And this is the point I want to get, drive home to you guys. I want you to understand what is happening to us. What's happening to this country? The housing needs by state. Like this report, by the way, it's the NLIHC. This report is released July. This report is released July of every year. So last year we did the 2022 one. And we went through the same thing where people gave me states and stuff. They have increased since last year, as I showed you with Maryland. But the Maryland one, this is ridiculous. I don't know, you guys, but these are the kind of things, again, it's called Out of Reach, the high cost of housing. Check that out when you get a chance. Eric, did you put that in? Oh, you did. Yeah, thank you so much. Out of Reach report. In fact, those of you, if you support RFK Jr., you support Cornel West, you support Marianne, whatever, you should send them this report and ask them what they plan to do about that. It's a good way to start. Good way to start. Okay, let me go to those comments on Rockfin, and then we'll get to the Glenn Greenwald story. Thank you so much for the tip on Rockfin, Roger. College admissions for HBCUs increases in past few years. Yeah, all of them. All of the universities are increasing. You're right. And thank you for this as well. Eric, can you put the links to the report I downloaded to my Dropbox and YouTube chat so viewers can compare how much is needed for minimum wage went up? This one is from 2021. Oh, that was 2022 and then 2023. Thanks. And thank you for this. Most expensive for California, Daphne, Fairhope, Folly, MSA, $63.19 an hour. That's insane. Birmingham, Hoover, HMFA, $60.67 an hour. San Jose, Sunnyvale, Santa Clara, $56.56. Tuscaloosa, $51.58. Santa Maria, Santa Barbara, $51.29. Sabs, New York happened to Florida, just like California happened to Texas. Private equity said, oh, they're moving here now. Raise those rent rates. natives being chased out of cities by New Yorkers and Californians moving their making expensive. Yeah, all of the relocating that's affecting those states apparently. And thank you for this as well. Although for New York State, it says $40.08. For downstate, where I am in New York City, it's $47.13. Out here in Long Island suburbs, $44.17. Run those congressional ballot initiatives, constitutional ballot initiatives to make it unconstitutional for private equity to own housing. That's a big one. Like people cannot continue to thrive this way. Like there's no way this can continue. It's ridiculous.